I want to welcome you to this video, and it's basically a continuation of the video I did the other day, which was a little bit more in length, talking about how to get referrals from clients and from attorneys. And what I promised in that video is that I would go into depth on some of the ways to get referrals from fellow attorneys, because I just didn't have the time to go into some of the things that I think are very important to really start getting referrals from fellow attorneys. So this will take about 15 minutes, and hopefully by the time we're finished, you will have some good ideas about how you can go about getting more and better referrals from attorneys. What we're going to do in the next few minutes is talk about how you can get referrals from fellow lawyers. We are about to change your referral mindset when it comes to getting referrals from other attorneys. If you listen to the other videos, some of this is just going to be very short and very redundant. But one of the reasons that attorney referrals are so great is because attorneys have contacts with a lot of potential clients for you. Every day, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, depending on their practice, somebody comes into their office that has a legal problem that they cannot help. For instance, I'm a personal injury attorney. I can't help them when they come in with a divorce matter, but I certainly can have a referral network where I can refer that person out. And that's what we're talking about. Your clients, on the other hand, they may love you, trust you, and all that, but they just don't understand what a legal problem is most of the time. And usually when they leave your office, they don't know how to refer you, don't even think about referring you. But with attorneys, obviously the referral process is ingrained in their head. They know that they should give and get referrals. A lot of times, though, they just don't do anything about it. I'm not going to belabor the point here, but attorneys basically know what you do. They know that you're a personal injury lawyer, that you may be doing medical malpractice, or that you're an intellectual property lawyer. Your client basically does not know exactly what you do. Oh, they may know that you handled an automobile case for them, but they have no clue that you handled medical malpractice. And I went into depth on that in the previous video that I did. But basically, attorneys know what you do and know who and how to refer you to someone that can take care of the problem that that client has. I touched a little bit on client trust, and usually when an attorney refers someone to another attorney, that person came to me, say, because they trusted what I could do for them. I couldn't help them, but I refer them to another attorney, and the trust they had in me flows to the attorney that I refer them to, and there's no problem with fees and things of that nature because they know that they're going to be well taken care of because I referred them out. This is interesting. Attorneys can pay referral fees on, and I don't want to get into the ethics of it and your bar association rules, et cetera, but generally attorneys can pay referral fees, and especially there's a gold mine out there if you refer a case to a personal injury attorney who settles a case for, say, $5 million and calls you up and says to you, oh, by the way, we just settled this case and we are sending you a check for X. You know, I know attorneys that get somewhere in the area of $100,000 to $200,000 to $300,000 a year just by virtue of referring cases to personal injury attorneys, and attorneys get that. So if getting referrals from attorneys is so great, why don't you get more referrals from fellow attorneys? Or rather than talking in the negative, let me kind of switch this and talk in the positive, and that is, why do attorneys who get referrals from other attorneys get those referrals? Simply put, attorneys that do get a lot of referrals from other attorneys know a lot of other attorneys. If you want referrals from other attorneys, you need to ask yourself, how many lawyers do you really know? Now, you may know their specialty, where they went to law school, where they went to college, but here is the real question. So do you really know them? One of the things you really need to think about is if you want to develop relationships with other attorneys so that they will refer you, and of course then you can refer them, you need to know more about them. You need to maybe know their spouse's name, maybe their kids' names. You need to know what cultural, charitable organizations they belong to. You need to know what they like to do for fun, their hobbies, what sports they like. Oh, and by the way, attorneys do have fun. But this is the key. You really need to get to know attorneys that you can refer people to, your clients to, and that hopefully they will in turn refer clients to you. So the next logical question is, where do you find lawyers that can refer cases to you? Here are some places where I believe you could find a lot of lawyers, and I'm going to go through each one of these, but I'm going to skip our section meetings and I'm going to skip shared office and virtuals until the next slides because I want to talk more in depth on those. But I would certainly suggest if you have a good bar association, an active bar association where you live, to attend the general bar association meetings. Get to meet some of the attorneys who are in these bar associations because you know what, if you don't get out and meet attorneys, they're not going to meet you, and guess what, you don't get referred by them and you can't refer clients out. Speaking to lawyers, what I mean by this is if you have some kind of specialty such as a tax lawyer, uh, get out there and get a group, figure out how you can talk to a group of lawyers, for instance, on how they can save on their taxes. And if your specialty is such that other lawyers could use it in their practice, see if you can get together with your bar association or whatever there is out there and put on a program to teach lawyers some of the information that you have. Introductions. Let's just say that you want to meet John, and he's a lawyer you've been trying to meet, and you know Bill, and Bill knows John. Why not go to Bill and say, Bill, I would really like to be introduced to John. Could you make that introduction for me? And then the other thing is, this is kind of interesting, right under your nose. And many times I'll go into a law office and there'll be 5, 6, 7 lawyers there. Sometimes they're in the same firm. Sometimes they're just basically sharing space. But the bottom line is these lawyers are right under your nose, and I've asked lawyers, do you know the lawyers in this office? And of course they'll say, yeah, I know them, and that type of thing. And then I'll ask a further question, do you really know them? Do you know what their specialty is? So they may know what their specialty is, but have you ever sat down and really talked to them about finding out what they really do? You might know that they're a personal injury lawyer, but maybe all they handle is nursing home cases. Do you see where I'm going with this? So instead of just saying hi in the morning, sit down with them and say, I'd like to find out more about what you do, and hopefully that they'll reciprocate when you start listening to what they have to say. They'll find out what you want to do. And one of the best ways to do this is just to go out and have coffee in the morning before your day gets going, because everybody gets busy. They come to the office, everybody gets busy. So just go out and ask, hey, let's go have coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning so that we can chat and I can find out more about what you do. And the other thing is, you may be sending cases outside that group of lawyers because there may be lawyers in there that would handle a case that you have or that you need to refer out, but you don't even know what they do. So start thinking about that. I want to talk a little bit about shared offices and virtuals. And I'm going to direct this to a company that I know that really provides such a great service for attorneys that it's probably one of the best kept secrets in Chicago, and that is Amada. Amada has 6 different offices around Chicago. When I say offices, they've rented a whole floor in different buildings. And what they provide for attorneys is a place for an attorney to have an actual office if they want it, or a place they can meet clients if they don't want the actual office or working out of their house or whatever. They have a phone service where somebody will answer the phones for you. Somebody can mail things to your office, to a downtown office. It doesn't look like you're operating out of your house. And one of the great things about Amada is that there are almost 700 attorneys either actually having physical offices or they're virtuals. And what Amada does is have mixers. They have events just about every month. They bring people in to talk about different things with regard to your practice. And why is that important? Because think about the number of attorneys you can meet just by going to some of these mixers, some of these events, some of these lectures that they have. And this is just made for you. So think about doing it. I want to spend the rest of my time on this topic of bar section meetings. And here's what I'm talking about. I want you to think about going to bar association section meetings that are not in your specialty. For instance, I'm going to just use this for instance. You're a personal injury attorney, right? And now this isn't going to work for every attorney or every specialty. So, you may have to think outside the box or it just may not work. But let's just say that you're a personal injury attorney and you want to go to a bar section meeting. Where would you go? Let me make a suggestion for you. Go to meetings where there are people that can refer you. And one of the best I know of from a standpoint of personal injury attorneys is the lawyers that work with small businesses, small corporations, this type of thing. And here's the reason for it. You go to a bar section meeting where these lawyers are, and you walk up to one of the lawyers and you introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Jim, and I'm a personal injury attorney. And if they haven't run away from you, then you've kind of gotten to first base with them anyway. But then you start this conversation that goes something like this. I settle cases, and sometimes, obviously, I have clients that have a considerable amount of money, and they're looking to start a business. And I really don't know where to send them. I don't have that expertise, and I'm looking for lawyers that I could refer some of these clients to. And so hopefully the person you're talking to is going to go, whoa, we need to sit down and talk. Because here's the thing, if he thinks about it and he can refer personal injury cases to you, guess what? He gets a nice referral fee. But let me tell you how this really works. Let's hypothetically say that John is a corporate attorney. He's got, say, 10 small corporations, small businesses that he represents, and each of those small businesses has 10 employees. Okay, so you get to know John, and you become friends with John, and so anytime a personal injury case comes up, who's going to get that referral? Now, here's how this kind of works in a little more detail. The owner of, say, one of the companies has 10 employees, and one of the employees calls in and says, gee, I can't come in today. My wife was in a terrible car accident, et cetera, and you basically have trained the owner of the business to say, well, do you have an attorney? Now, this takes time. I mean, with what you have to work together with the business attorney, but he's trained then to say, do you have an attorney? This could work for divorces or anything else that's going on kind of in the consumer area. And you then the lawyer gets a call from the owner of the business to his corporate attorney, and he says, one of my employees was in a car accident last night, and here's what's going on, and I know you've got a real good friend that's a personal injury attorney. Could you kind of contact the attorney and see if he can see my employee? Bingo. Guess what? There is a new case, right? Now stop and think about this. If you go out and you get, say, just one business lawyer that has 10 small businesses. The number doesn't matter. You can put in any number you want. But say they have 10 small businesses with 10 employees. That's a potential of 100 new clients. Are they going to all come to you, all have personal injury cases? Obviously not. But one, maybe two a month, wouldn't that be nice if that happens? And then here's the thing. The client comes to you, you settle that nice personal injury case, and you call up the business lawyer, and you say, hey, we just settled the case you sent us, and I'm going to send you a check for X dollars. And basically, that business attorney has not done a thing as far as the case except refer it out. So wouldn't you like to be on the receiving end of some of those referral fees? And this is a great way to do it. I hope that you found value in this short presentation and that you will start putting into practice one or two or three or four, or whatever, of the suggestions that I have made with regard to going forward and getting referrals from fellow attorneys. Now, some you may like, some you may never want to do, but take one or two, start out slow. Don't try and do everything all at once, but take, as I said, one or two of the suggestions I've made, things that you feel comfortable doing, and start working with those. And if something works for you, fine. If that's not working for you, try something else. The other thing, if you want more detailed information, you can go on my website, www.lawyersmarketingresource.com, and on the first page, it'll take you or direct you on how you can go ahead and get one or both copies of the two books that I've done. And obviously, they go into a lot more detail than I could have possibly done in this short video. But here's wishing you luck. I hope that some of these things will bring you all the referrals that you could ever want. And again, thanks for listening.